The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung. Welcome to Casa de Confidence, a podcast for you. You'll hear some incredible women
and some awesome, cool dudes
going confidently in the direction of their dreams and living in the purpose of their heart.
You're our host,
Julie DeLucca-Collins, and you are our sidekick. # handsome hot husband.
That again.
And the producer of the show.
That I am.
I am an author, speaker, coach, dreamer, and most of all,
we help people go in the direction of their dreams
and support them on their purpose. So pull up a chair,
grab a drink,
and make yourself at home because our casa
is your casa.
Good morning, Daniel. I mean, evening. I don't even know what day it is already. What is this? Is it Monday?
This is the podcast. Welcome back, everyone, to Casa de Confidence.
Oh, my gosh. Do you feel accomplished? I feel exhausted.
I feel a little extra accomplished today.
Yeah.
Oh,
listen,
it's been a long weekend.
It's been a long weekend.
Very productive weekend, though.
Yeah, you are very productive. I have not finished my tasks, though. Tasks?
Your tasks?
I can't even speak anymore.
I know. You sound a little tired, baby.
I know. Well,
so if you guys want to know why we feel a little accomplished and a lot tired, we reconfigured our entire office. We became interior designers. I already am tech support, but yeah, I had a simple thing that wasn't obvious set me back. I couldn't get our network up and running, but I remembered something that the guy from Frontier said to me, and I did that. Voila, that fixed it.
I was not here for it because I took my mom to church, but I came back and I'm still going through and trying to get everything sorted in that bookshelf behind you.
Oh my gosh. And it's like half the books it used to be.
Well, not half. I mean, I have a hard time parting with my books.
I know you do.
Hey, I have books in there that date back to when I was 18.
Really?
Yeah. And
that was like the last century.
I knew you were going to say that. How predictable are you, Daniel?
So anyway, it's great to have books.
Yeah. Half of my books are banned in other states. It's true.
Hey, it's a curated collection of knowledge and inspiration.
That's right. I admit hard time parting with books, but I really want to make sure that, I don't know, they're available to maybe someone who wants to borrow them.
So books, what kind of books are you? Well, you already said you've got banned books. Banned books.
Well, I have 1984. I have the my gosh, I can't even think straight anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The ones, wait. The girl, no.
Do you have my
Mango Street? I have Mango Street.
Do you have my favorite science fiction book?
No, I don't have science fiction books that I can think of.
1984, that's science fiction.
Oh, that was required reading.
Oh, so was Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, my favorite science fiction book.
I have to sneeze.
You didn't read Fahrenheit 451? I had to.
Excuse me, I had to sneeze.
Wow. You know what?
What?
It's so clean in here, but we kicked up some dust getting there.
Well, and I also had to clean carpets, and my goodness, that was a lot that we did this.
I am no longer isolated on my side of the office. I can turn to the right
and see me.
See my beautiful wife.
Mm.
And I've got a cockpit of monitors now.
Yeah. If you want to see them, you can see them on Instagram.
I'm surrounded. And it actually is working out pretty good so far.
It is. Listen.
And I've got the computers in they're positioned in a manner where they blow the hot air away from us instead of onto us.
Operative word is I've got the computers.
Yes.
Several computers.
Well, if you're serious about video editing, you have beastly machines and they generate heat. And I have my main machine and then the backup machine, just in case something crazy happens. Plus, I can do two different videos at the same time. But then we have the NAS, which is actually a little overkill, but we don't ever have to delete everything.
Listen, I can't hear you, and I'm putting my other monitor on, and I can't hear myself either.
Well,
can you hear me?
Well, you probably got your volume turned down a little bit. Here, let me turn it up for you.
Turn me up, baby.
Oh, it's not that kind of party. How about now?
Oh my God. No, I can't hear myself at all.
You can't hear anything right now.
I can't hear myself. Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you.
Well, as long as the listeners can hear me, that's all.
You know what it is? I think this little cord here is not.
Oh, there you go. I could hear me.
Well, it's bent.
It's bent. Well, I don't know why you would bend bent.
It's bent.
Oh, that would be why, Daniel.
All right, I got to get you a new headphone
Well,
cord.
here's the. Can you
just plug it directly in?
Here, plug me directly. He's going to plug me directly to the soundboard. Oh,
see, now
voila.
Now you're participating.
And now I am in full fledged.
Yeah, we're actually plugged into the same volume.
Yeah.
So
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Now you've
IT.
Now you know.
To live with it.
This is how I fix things.
Oh. Dan told me that I was IT nightmare, an IT department's nightmare.
You know, Julie, I think we've gone long enough without mentioning who our guest is.
Oh, we should mention our guest. Our guest is someone who I really enjoy the conversation, specifically because she's a therapist, somatic practitioner, and somatic practices are something that have incredibly been value added to me and helping me through my journey in, dealing with anxiety. And Inga Larson, she helps people heal from the impact of emotionally immature or narcissistic parents. And let me tell you, this is not your typical therapy chat. It really isn't. It was something that I am incredibly grateful that I had the opportunity to learn from her and also hear her story.
Cool. I actually haven't edited it yet.
You have not? So you haven't listened to it?
I haven't even heard it yet. So I'm looking forward to listening to it.
Well, she shares a little bit of her story of being homeless in her 20s, growing up, again, with a narcissistic father, and how she went from backstage theater kid to therapist, helping others reconnect with their true selves, mind and body, which is incredibly important.
It is incredibly important. So, Julie.
Yes, Daniel.
November's coming quick.
Yeah, I can't believe we're closing out July. And then, yes, November is coming very quick, and I'm becoming a little excited / nervous. So I'm telling myself that it's not nervous, it's just excited. But oh my goodness, there's a lot to do in my plate.
You know why I'm talking about November, right?
Because Thanksgiving is coming?
No. Well, yeah. But it's also your CEO retreat.
Yes, it is. The in-person CEO retreat. I have secured a place for the retreat, and I love the retreat place. It's here in Connecticut. And if you are a fan of the Gilmore Girls, we're going to lean into the quaint Connecticut Gilmore Girl vibe because we are having our retreat at an old inn / conference center.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I was a girl.
Well, boys can come too, I think.
I don't know. Can they?
Well, you're tech support.
Well,
you may not need to spend the night. You can just come in and out.
Oh, like last year you had your first live event and you guys were like, "Hey, we need you to get a few things running. Can you come down here and then leave?"
Yeah, basically
so I
like
did
that.
So that was good, and that was the first time I met a lot of people, and actually was able to help Michelle Weston.
That's right.
With her computer that day.
Speaking of Michelle Weston, she is launching her podcast soon, and her podcast is Beyond the Diagnosis. Now, you know what I am doing with Michelle Weston? I don't think I told you this. I'm going into New York City with Sarah Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you mentioned it.
Oh, I did. Oh, gosh. I did. Thank God. Because Sarah is taking new headshots and lifestyle pictures of Michelle Weston. And cool. I am going to go in and kind of help in the process and curate and give my 2 cents. Not that I am a stylist or anything, but excited for that.
Are you going to go in there, swoop in and direct the photo shoot, kind of like on Ugly Betty?
No, I wouldn't say that.
You know, what's the magazine on Ugly Betty? What's the
Mode magazine?
You'll be the Mode photo shoot director?
I wouldn't. No. I'm just, Sarah has an incredible eye. She doesn't need me telling her what to do.
I do have to say, your mom watches a lot of Ugly Betty.
A lot. That's an understatement.
It's a really good show.
It is a very good show. And every time we watch it for the 20th season.
I totally missed it the first time.
Oh.
So.
Well, I loved it. I used to record it in my TiVo. I used to TiVo Ugly Betty.
Really? It's that old, huh?
Don't call me old. Yeah,
Ugly Betty's not that old.
One segment you've called me old.
That's not a TiVo age show, is it? That's from like the aughts?
It
like
is
2005?
No. You know how I know it's a TiVo show? Because when I got divorced and I moved to my single girl apartment and I had a TiVo, I recorded the last episode of the series finale.
I guess I didn't realize it was like 15 years old.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's crazy.
It's really good.
So anyway, Julie.
Yes, Daniel. I need to go back and reorganize books. So
all right.
Let's get on with the show.
So today's episode, what's it like? What are we gonna expect?
Well, I think that if you have been struggling with relationships or putting behind some of the things that you went through in a childhood that didn't serve you, our guest today is sharing a little bit of what her practice is about grounding and how it has become a true game changer for her to really reconnect with herself. And it's a must listen. Even if you didn't grow up with narcissistic parents, but all of us have grown up with difficulties here and there that get trapped into our nervous system. And it is important for us to go through and really explore what are the things that keep us back, because those things that trip us up are the things that rob us of our confidence. Oh,
didn't you say she was like a backstage theater kid?
Yes, I did say that. Were you listening?
I no, you told me earlier. See, conversations are not staying in your head today.
Yeah, everything is running into each other. Anyway, we really should get to the show, Daniel.
All right.
And by the way, one last thing. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you for all you do.
Oh, so look at us.
I knew this office needed a little revamp, and we needed to have a better working environment.
Yeah.
We organized it once, and it was, we weren't quite sure what we were doing. And now I think we know what our needs are a little better. And I think this is a great restructure of our room.
You took care of my needs by cable management and not having cables that I can trip all over the place.
Well, if you like it now, it's not done.
Oh my God. All right. So, I love you.
All right. Love you too.
And I love you, the listener.
Love you, listeners. Oh, sorry. There's people out there listening. I forgot. Right. Okay. Hey, I hope you enjoy this conversation with Julie and Inga Larson.
Welcome back to another episode of Casa de Confidence. You know, my friends, the subject matter that we touch on the podcast tends to be very different topics, but there's always an underlying theme. And I want to remind you that the reason we have these incredible guests come to us is because we resonate with their stories. And I know that you too will resonate with their journeys, their journey to confidence, some of the mishaps, failures, and lessons that they have in their life. And today's guest, like many of us, wanted to give up completely at times. And when she was in her 20s, she talks about her being clueless and at times homeless and always poor. And she navigated the world with all the skills of a blind gorilla. So I like that visual, because I think that sometimes we don't know specifically where are the things, right? That how we view ourselves and how that makes us come out into the world. But the work that she is doing right now is really helping individuals move through healing and overcome some of these challenges. And again, she has done the work herself. So it is an incredible pleasure to welcome Inga Larson to the show. Welcome, Inga.
Thank you, Julie. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, well, the visual, right? The whole visual of a blind gorilla. And I can tell you, I just did a video yesterday. I didn't finish posting it, but I was talking about Julie in her 20s, and a little bit of the lessons that I gained. And even though some of these things that I went through at the time, I didn't know they were going to be very influential in my time now. They
Mhm.
really are the things that inform us. And for me, there's so much value in our past, regardless of what it may be,
Yeah.
because it made us who we are today. Now, you are a child of an immature or personality disorder parents, if I can say that
Yes,
correctly.
absolutely. It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, but tell me a little bit more about that, because I think that most of us have different or some commonalities in themes when it comes to parents. We don't always see eye to eye. Sometimes, and especially now as 50-year-olds, some of us encounter being the person helping our parents. But tell me a little bit about that relationship with your parents, and what do you mean by emotionally immature?
Right. I think that it's something that I find really helpful in speaking with not just my clients, but also a Facebook group
Mhm.
that I facilitate. And most parents learn, healthy enough parents, let's go ahead and put it that way. Healthy enough parents learn that they're not going to be perfect. There's no such thing. Any parent
Mhm.
who's listening
Yeah.
learns that there is no such thing as perfect, and they forgive themselves for that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
they're willing to look inside. So that element
Mm.
of insight, I am conscious of this relationship with my child. I am responsible for my child. My energy goes to my child. I'm not
Mhm.
expecting energy to come back to me.
Mhm.
I'm certainly not needing energy to come back to me. If it comes
Mm.
back to me, I use it as an opportunity to build
Right.
that social skill. Wonderful
Mhm.
how giving you are. That's fantastic. And I continue as a good enough parent to give to you.
Mhm.
My mother was a woman of her times. So I was born in 1958.
Okay.
So the end of the McCarthy era.
Mhm.
And my mother was probably her highlights were in the 40s and early 50s, and she was stuck there. She had her own trauma history.
Yeah.
So she had a very unsupportive husband. My father was a narcissist. He truly fit into that category. He wasn't on the spectrum, he was there and
Okay.
solid. And he was, I become aware of it then, very cruel to her. So she was always on edge. She was
Yeah.
always anxious. She was always feeling like she was behind the eight ball, trying to catch up. And I
Yeah.
lived with that anxiety. And I was the child that tried to make that anxiety better. So I had my energy moving toward her as opposed to receiving her energy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not completely. There was definitely some give and take,
Mhm.
but it was definitely out of balance. And she was not able to regulate. And she was not able to really reflect. You know, a really good, healthy enough parent is able to go, I'm really sorry I did that. I'm really
Yeah.
sorry I said that. I have a wonderful friend, Lisa, who's a colleague. And and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm going to go with it. When her children were young, she started a journal. And every time she felt like she'd made a mistake, she wrote down the mistake so that in
Mm.
20 years' time, when they got their own therapist, they could just take the journal with them.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's a great
Therapist
idea.
and have okay, I see all the things that your mother
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So that was her emotional immaturity. She wasn't able to be the grown up at all times.
Mhm. Yeah.
My father was very different. He had his idea for how we should perform.
Mhm.
And in fact, my earliest years were extremely performative. That
Mhm.
whole experience of, we were talking about confidence so much. that whole experience of being confident on the outside, having a tone of voice, having a pose, a stance that I would take, a way in which I showed my face, were all what I thought at an early age confidence was. Right? And it was all about trying to match the behaviors, the tone, the words that he thought I should have. There was no thought in his mind that there was actually a little human being in there with her own unique experience.
Wow.
So that complete lack of insight was part of his experience. And that was the message he gave to me. So the whole idea of confidence as an internal thing, because neither of my parents were able to really sink deeply enough into themselves to have insight, was it was not something that I was experiencing at all. I had no clue of what it was to actually have insight, to go inside and explore.
Yeah. You know, your dad, you mentioned he was a narcissist and he had this sense of, you pleasing him through your performative actions.
Yeah.
But he also was, if I'm not mistaken, a psychologist, correct?
Oh, no, honey. Even worse, he was a psychiatrist.
Oh, he was a psychiatrist. That's
Oh,
right.
yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I think that, this happens so many different times, right? We
Right.
become the person who we need to be for ourselves, but we want to go ahead and do it for others. Was that a little bit of cognitive dissonance in some level, you think, for him and for you also as you related to him?
I think that there's a cognitive dissonance of a particular sort. So with my clients, I've found that doing parts work is really helpful. And I use something called voice dialogue. I don't use IFS, but many people are familiar with internal family systems as well, which is another fine tool. But that experience in the true personality disordered category of being fractured, of I'm not saying it's DID, but it's an extreme where there is a dark side to someone with a personality disorder, all that disowned stuff, because you don't have insight. It's that, Mr. Hyde, that's always resting there, that holds the dark. And Dr. Jekyll is blissfully unaware of what Mr. Hyde is doing and showing up. So I'm sure his clients had a wonderful experience. And in fact, after he died, many clients came to my brother and me and said, "Oh, he was a wonderful psychiatrist. He really saved my life." So that experience that they were having with him was valid, that he could show up as Dr. Jekyll with them. But so often he really showed all those elements of Mr. Hyde. So that feeling of fracture, that feeling of disowned parts is very much a part of the personality disorder. Now, it's not to say that if you have disowned parts, you have a personality disorder.
Right, correct.
Right? There are parts of me that I don't like.
Right.
So I try to keep as far away from them as possible. But it's that absolute kind of cluelessness, that weird switch that can happen.
Yeah. Now, because you had some of these fracture parts and you grew up in this environment, is that specifically why you decided to go into social work as well? Even though,
I wasn't going to go into social work.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Yes, if this weren't going to be on air, I would use expletives.
Oh, you can. We could be up a little potty mouth here and there too. So I don't mind.
Oh, good. Okay. There was no fucking way.
Yeah.
I was going to be. And I had all the markers for being a great therapist because I was such a good listener. Oh my God. I just listened to everybody. And it was a great cover because if I listened, I didn't actually have to talk.
I was just thinking that. You probably, it gave you the ability to not be the one who the limelight was shining on. And I think that for good listeners, right, that's one of the things that happens, that they don't want to kind of allow that into me see or intimacy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you mentioned limelight because that's exactly where I went.
Yeah.
I couldn't show up as myself, but I could do theater.
Mm-hmm.
And in theater, I could get up on stage as somebody else. And I loved the attention.
Yeah.
And I was able to work backstage as well, and making
Mm-hmm.
props and scenery and all of that. I loved theater inside and out. And I spent my 20s and even early 30s much more involved in theater, doing arts administration, and absolutely adored it because they were my first tribe.
Yeah.
So much of confidence is about that sense of belonging. We chatted last week
Yeah.
about.
100%.
And the first time I ever felt a true sense of belonging, where people were not only making room for my oddness, but actually wanting my oddness, because everyone was odd. That's kind of the ticket. You can't be a healthy, well, you can be healthy. You can't be someone who would really fit within what people might describe as the norm.
Yeah.
And really feel comfortable there. You had to have some kind of quirkiness to you. And boy, was it quirky. And that quirkiness gave me the ticket in. And I loved the people. And so many of those people were interested in so many ideas that I was unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
Such as authenticity, such as vulnerability. And they were such a culturally diverse group of people.
Yeah, I became involved in theater in a couple different ways. I went into drama in middle school into high school, and somewhere along the line, I went from being a theater drama kid into a youth group kid. But I think that there was that level of belonging as well and quirkiness that you had to have, that allowed me to belong and allowed me to really kind of come into my own. Now, I'm curious. Here you are, in a great community, but you still were homeless in your early 20s. Tell me more about that.
Right. Yeah. There was a period of time where I just completely, what is the stake? I dropped the plot. I got completely lost. I was going to college and I wasn't showing up for classes. And I finally just dropped out. And I had odd jobs here and there for a while, and then no jobs. I don't know, to be honest with you, to this very day, Julie, I do not have a real handle on that time. And the only meaning I could make for that is I was a little bit checked out. I was a little bit dissociated. I slept on people's couches. And when I couldn't find a couch, I would find, because I knew the university system, I was back in Boston and Cambridge, I would find a spare classroom, turn out the lights, and hunker down there. And I was basically in survival mode. And it wasn't that there weren't resources available to me.
Right.
I just felt really checked out. I really felt disconnected. And I, to this day, I think what really helped me was that my father, of all people, finally got the idea that I could not be found. And it actually concerned him enough. Again, even the most personality disordered has a good day where they actually go, oh, there are other people in the world with needs. And he gave me enough money and I was able to travel around a little bit, and visit some friends. And because I had that experience of reconnecting with people, it helped me kind of come back to myself. And I was able to become more stable and make a decision about where I wanted to go next. And where I wanted to go next was University of Wisconsin at Madison.
Okay.
But yes, absolutely. There was a time where I was a helium balloon with maybe a tether tying me very precariously to the earth. And at times that tether didn't exist.
Yeah.
So that was my homeless experience. And boy, was I poor.
Yeah. Well, I think of the phrase, and I've been hearing a lot of it lately. Children need to have strong roots, but also given wings. And I think that, the relationship in your parents and the way that they emotionally unavailable. You still had roots, but the wings are the ones that carried you, and the ones that you needed to go out and really, find yourself. And I see that, I think, in so many ways, and even for me, for a level, from as much as my mom was great and phenomenal, in some ways she was absent as well, because she was a single mom. She was kind of processing, and she was carrying her own trauma and dealing with a lot of different things. Excuse me, so much so that I became the parent in ways in the relationship, and even now, right? The work that you do helps individuals embrace parts of who they are. But in order to be able to do that, you need to really embrace yourself. And why is that disconnect? And how, because I see that a lot in people, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. What holds people back from embracing themselves?
I think that it starts with the most important people around a child recognizing only certain qualities of that child because they want to see those qualities or even impose those qualities. Again, emotionally immature personality disorder versus a healthy enough parent being curious about this new human being that's showing up in their home. And who is this person? I don't know. Let me find out. So we develop, and I, this is one of the videos I really want to create. I have all these ping pong balls that represent different parts of the self. We have a primary self. That's, if you were to ask me 5 different things about myself that would, for you, Julie, describe who I am, I would go boom, 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 boom. And those are my primaries. And then there's stuff that is also part of me. And then there's the disowned part. And what we learn in our lives, if we are in a healthy enough environment, is that we're exposed to people who continue to be curious about us, grown-ups who continue to be curious about us. Later on, friends who are curious about us. And we started exploring more and more and more of the territory. So there's a movie that talks about parts, actually, and a teenage girl. I can't remember at the moment. It's an animated movie, but in any case, everyone knows what I'm probably talking about.
Oh, is it Inside Out?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I love that movie.
and I love the second movie because it really talks about just how complex that is. However, when you get punished on some level for having a quality that is not in line with the unhealthy parent, you learn to actually have a zap of discomfort every time that part of you wants to surface. So if I grew up in a very repressed, sexually repressed household, every time I thought, "Ooh, tasty over," oh no, can't go for that. Right. So that's one aspect, but there are many aspects. If I grew up in a very logical family and I wanted to be creative and playful and all those things that are more right-brained, oh, that doesn't make sense. Explain to me why you want to dance. Cite the tones that tell me that dance is actually useful to your neurological development, right?
Mhm.
So we get these messages of punishment so that by the time that we are away from home, we have this embodied experience of, oh, no, can't go there. Oh, no, can't go there. Right. Because we've been conditioned to have that reaction to self-exploration, as opposed to a journey into parts of myself I don't know yet. It becomes, oh, no, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm surrounded by people who are like that,
Mhm.
but that's not me. So it's whenever I work with someone, and trauma is also very much about at its more intense levels, people really splitting off from themselves.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
encounter people who are really uncomfortable leaning into aspects of themselves that were not approved of. And it's not just an intellectual, it's not okay for me to go there. It's a felt sense. It's an emotional reaction that says, oh, no, I can't go there. No, I can't. And if you try to go there alone, the old saying, never go into the ghetto of your mind alone. If you
Oh,
try to go
I
there,
like that.
oh,
I
I
have
learned
not
that.
heard that.
Oh, yes. When I was first studying psychotherapy, and we'll get to that and how I
Mhm.
got from being an arts administrator and going,
Yeah.
no, psychotherapy to actually deciding to become a psychotherapist. We'll definitely talk more about that. But I learned the phrase, never go into the ghetto of your mind alone.
Wow.
So many of my clients come to me because they've bumped into uncomfortable material.
Mhm.
Sometimes a new person has entered their lives and left them questioning. Sometimes an experience has triggered something.
Yeah.
And they notice, either they decompensate or they notice how decompensated they are.
Yeah.
And they come. And what is really cool about what I do with them is I very early on start building rapport, because people don't care what you have to say until they know you care.
Yeah.
And so I build rapport.
Yeah.
And for my part, I know that walking into my office or online is someone who has the courage to face their demons
Mhm.
and knows they need help doing so, which to
Mm.
me is extraordinarily courageous. And
Mm.
so uh, I have people come in and I develop rapport with them. They learn to trust me, and then they take the leap of leaning into that physical discomfort,
Right. Yeah. So
of
true.
embracing those parts that feel monstrous.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they're monstrous because they've been sitting out there in the cold and the rain.
Mhm. Mhm.
Bring those parts in, and it's not everything I do, but it's definitely a part of what I do. You bring those
Mhm.
parts in out of the cold, and you find a way of at least creating a kind of a nominal alliance with them, if not actually befriending them yet.
Mhm.
Start transforming into functional aspects of the self that actually have qualities that the person needs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I think the discomfort comes
Yeah.
from. And that's what I
Absolutely.
think is needed to help overcome the discomfort.
Yeah, I totally see, right, that our experiences of trauma really and for most of us, right, we don't go through something and say, "Oh, I'm going through traumatic stuff that is going to impact me for the rest of my life." But we just kind of navigate through whatever it is that we're going, and somewhere along the line, this keeps getting just pushed down in our bodies, in our brains, in our souls. And like you talked about, there's experiences that then trigger things in us. And I know that for myself, that's been part of the journey. When between COVID, getting laid off, my brother passing, there's a lot of things that I've been uncovering,
Mhm.
and really that I'm so grateful that I have a community and the tools, and I worked with a coach to really kind of help me navigate that. But people don't realize that a lot of the things that they have gone through and experiences are really trapped within their body.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of the work that you do. But now you started before social work. You went to become a massage therapist. Tell me a little bit of what is the melding of your background in that sense when you're helping people?
Oh, I love that question. So, when I finally decided in my late 30s to go ahead, bite the bullet, and become a therapist, I decided that I liked social work because that's really what I've been doing for the last several
Right.
years.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been involved with being a peer counselor for domestic violence hotline and for child assault prevention and for GLBTQIA causes and I love the social work aspect. I love the activist aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so I decided, yeah, I'm going to get my social work degree, and I want to go full time, and that can be expensive, and I need to keep my work flexible, and I need to make a decent income when I do work.
Yeah.
So I had a friend who was studying massage therapy, and she suggested doing massage therapy. And even as a kid, I liked doing massages. I actually,
Okay.
when my dad would come home at night, I liked massaging his feet. My brother had a bad back. I liked massaging his back. So I really liked the whole experience of massaging. And I thought, yeah, why not? And here's the great thing. I'll do this while I go to school. It's flexible. I make, instead of minimum wage or $15 an hour, I'm going to make $30 an hour. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'll come out the other end financially a lot more solvent than most of the other students who are going to school.
Smart.
Which worked great all the way through school.
Wow.
I had a business all the way through school, very flexible, kept my head above water financially.
That's great.
But by the end of it, my plan was to let it go, and I fell in love with it instead. I found that when I worked with people, I would actually find areas that it felt hot to me. It felt like they needed particular care, these areas. And clients would tell me afterwards, how did you know to work on those areas? So I acknowledged that there was something inside of me that was sensitive somatically to other people. I could get a sense of what was going on with them. So when after I graduated, started pursuing further work, further training, because the great thing about being a therapist, being a coach, is that the training never stops. If you don't love educating yourself and improving yourself, don't go into this business.
Yeah.
Because it benefits from constantly growing and learning. And I decided, okay, I am going to dive into this somatic component of so-called mental health and explore what that meant.
Yeah.
And so I studied a number of different things. I studied Reiki. I studied craniosacral therapy through John Upledger. I studied somatic experiencing. I certainly have followed Pat Ogden's work in sensory motor. And I found that clients would come in and do the head up, right? We learned, unfortunately, in this country, we're very much a neck up society.
I like that term. It's true, though.
And then this part of our body, from the shoulders on down, is just the car we drive around in. Or if you're a spiritualist, you're a spiritual person having a physical experience, but you aren't your physical experience. You don't really own that this is actually a part of who you are. And what I loved is when people were able to lean into their bodies and actually become more feeling and therefore more able to feel both grounded and resourced, as well as notice where in their bodies they could feel the activation that was stuck.
Yeah.
And they were there over time. It's the beautiful neurological thing about this is that we become more and more and more sensitive
Yeah.
to what's going on in our bodies. So people would come in and maybe the first few sessions, they would go, well, I think I'm angry. And I think it may, I don't know, it's somewhere in here somewhere.
But they can't
Would be
pinpoint it.
able, right, would be able after the first, I don't know, depending upon their background, sometimes we weren't dealing with pathology at all. We were just dealing with kind of stuck anger. They didn't have chronic PTSD. They didn't have clinical depression. And they were able to, after a few weeks, sometimes a few months, notice, oh, I'm feeling activation very specifically in my fists. Wow, I can really feel that. And I feel really charged in my sternum. Yeah. And we would do exercises specifically for those areas of the body that helped them actually move whatever was stuck there in a very specific way. So I loved that because the results, you know, I'm fine with people taking as long as it takes to heal. But I also know that people really feel like they don't have a whole lot of time to waste. And they don't want to spend years and years and years in therapy.
Right.
And they don't want to spend years and years and years in coaching. They want to be able to, in a matter of a few months, maybe for longer term issues, even up to a year or so, really working through stuff, but they don't want to spend forever doing it.
Yeah. I hear you. You know, we live in a society that has taught us to be that instant gratification type of society, and solutions are very important, specifically if you're in a state of anxiety, of really being in that fight or flight motion. And I have to say, you know, some of the somatic practices that I've adopted into my life have allowed me to then not only be resilient, right, but really be able to create more successful. I don't even know if that's the phrase, but I cope with things in a better manner. Not all the time. I'm not perfect, right? But it does allow me to have that. And I think this is the one piece where there's so many different misconceptions about, you know, all of these practices that, again, our body is really part of the solution. It's not an isolated thing, and it needs to be addressed. Would you agree to that, or share a little bit of your
Oh,
perspective
yeah,
on that?
absolutely. And again, it's not just the body. It's the body mind.
Yeah.
So it's an acronym, CYBAM, that I learned in somatic experience in Peter Levine's work. That is, S is for sensation, I is for imagery. So whenever we're thinking about a traumatic event or condition, if we can have a full experience of it, we have the sensation in our bodies. We have a picture in our minds. B, behavior. Whenever I think about this, I want to roll my shoulders up. A, affect. What is my mood? What is my feeling? And M, what is the meaning? Even though I know better, whenever I think about this or I'm enthralled to this because I've been triggered, my meaning is that I'm stupid. My meaning is that I am no good. So when we're comfortable with, when we have this full understanding, when we're activated about what's going on in us, then we can work with it. Then we can address it, then we can help it. And we can do all the things that we know to do, including call a friend, including get care, that allow us to move through. And every time, and I love the whole idea of confidence. Every time we're able to, instead of feeling defeated by our distress, we're able to move through it using the tools that we find work for us. And the somatic tools because we are such embodied creatures, the somatic tools are crucial every time we move through it. And out the other side, we're able to go, well, I got through that.
Right.
And you become more confident. You've done something difficult. You've taken the hand of friend or partner or family member, and you've done the internal work, and you've gotten through it. It diminishes your fear about the next time something difficult shows up.
Indeed. Oh,
Till
so good.
difficult doesn't have a bad flavor. It's just difficult.
It's just difficult. Right. Right. And I think that that's the thing that for, so many people, right? Our world teaches us this is good, this is bad, feeling this is not good, feeling that is bad. And really when we start to look at things as neutral, right? And not assigning that category, at least for me, it has been something that has helped me kind of move through, right? And by the way, my brain, it wants to be dysregulated a lot of times. It does, right? I want to be dysregulated. Like it's so easy, right? Because that's what I learned. However, taking that step, bringing the awareness and noticing, and then saying, and by the way, it's interesting. In the last few weeks, my husband will laugh at this. There's been little things that I've had this massive reaction to, and they've been so inconsequential and just emotional reactions. And I think I had to really kind of take a step back and said, what is this about? And it really is that those are just the familiarity, or what I call the frenemy behaviors that we're accustomed to having. And yet I'm not maybe doing it in a big term, but it's been so easy because I'm not noticing, right, what state I'm in when these little things happen. So it's been really interesting to kind of explore that for myself.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you. And thank you for that great example of kind of doing a meta, standing back from yourself and going, what did I just do?
Yeah, right.
Why did I lose the plot? Wow, that's really
right.
What's going on with me? And then you follow it up with a desire to answer the question. But that experience of being dysregulated, I would love to hone in on that, because I do think we live in a society that really supports dysregulation.
And even so, right now, with so many different things that are doing, and like you're saying, our society does support that. And I look at the news, I look at social media, I hear these, and they really are promoting that dysregulation.
Yeah. And it's almost a part of a tribal identity to be frenzied. And again, I'm not responding to a political party. I think people on all sides.
Yeah.
There's a pull toward becoming more activated and outraged about that other side and that other kind of person who is just terrible. And we're really, really good, and they're really, really bad. And we're fighting for our lives. That feeling almost of survival.
Yeah.
Now we're fighting for our lives.
Yeah.
And not really doing anything effective, truly effective, or intelligent about it. Just rail and rail.
And one of the things that because I am human and I fall into the frenzy as well, and based on my environment, right, in this world, I'm not out of this world.
Right.
The one thing that I realize is that when we are in that state, right, it becomes even more difficult to find dialogue, to find common ground. And therefore, we continue to separate ourselves from that person, this thing, that, and then our need to belong and be in a tribal community then it's missing, right? We're like, wait a minute, where do I belong? Because we cannot find a common ground to learn about each other and to really find commonalities, because we're always looking for the differences that we have.
See, I think that that's one of the reasons why you and I, Julie, are lucky. I think very early on we had an experience of having true, authentic belonging in a group that, at least from my experience, were a bunch of oddballs.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was odd in one way and you were odd in another, great, wonderful. Let's explore each other's oddity.
Yeah.
Later on, when I became more politically engaged, I encountered people, and at the time, this was about 20, 30 years ago. At the time, they were the minority, thankfully, who really needed to have this kind of faux belonging. That is the belief that all of us in this group are all good. There's nothing wrong at all.
Yeah.
There cannot be anything wrong or flawed within our group. And that other group, that adversarial group, adversative group of the other, were all bad.
Yeah.
And that's not true belonging. That's faux belonging.
That's faux belonging. Oh,
Yeah.
so I like that. I'm going to use that if I have permission to.
I mean, there we go. You're using French, so you should just things up. So the experience of true belonging is, I want to get to know you. And as part of that, there are going to be things about you that I'm curious about and I really enjoy, but there are things about you that maybe I'm not so crazy about.
Right.
And you're going to have the same experience of me. And so my friends and I are very honest with each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes uncomfortably so, but it keeps us on track. And that's true belonging. Yeah.
I actually just, someone was interviewing me for a podcast last night, and I was surprised at myself because they're in Australia, so it was late for me. But I was surprised at myself at having this conversation, because I was talking about mainly my marriage and the partnership that we have. And she said, well, what do you think is one of the secrets to your success? Both of you had marriages that, your practice marriages, as we tend to call them here. But the one thing that came to mind, and I think that this is really goes to what you're talking about. My husband and I try and work at having that radical candor, and we don't always see eye to eye on things. I mean, we come from very different backgrounds, but the ability to not only be able to be candid radically with each other and then still know that the other person is going to love and accept me creates that greater sense of belonging.
Yeah. There's a wonderful woman who just recently died, Sue Johnson. And she developed a couples therapy called emotionally focused therapy. And the goal of that was very attachment based. And what you're describing, Julie, is secure attachment.
Yeah.
So that I may be unhappy with you in the moment, or you may be unhappy with me. But underneath, we both know in our bodies, in our hearts, in our gut, that we love each other.
Yeah.
And so a temporary ruffle in the water isn't going to do anything for the underlying tide.
Yeah,
that keeps us
absolutely.
connected.
Absolutely.
So we can risk that, because
we can risk it. Yeah. One of the things that we'll say to each other typically, and either myself or my husband will say, especially if we're kind of in different points of view, and we come back to, okay, Team Dane and Julie. At the end of the day, that's really what it is. So many different things in everything that we've been talking about. There's so many different amazing avenues that we could explore. You have to be one of these people that comes back, and we can unpack so many different things. But for people who are listening and they really have been in this point that maybe they've tried therapy, maybe they've tried some different types of practices, or maybe they really submerge themselves in their faith, but they heard us talk about, right, that emotionally immature parent, and they're starting to see, wait a minute, this is sort of something deeper that I need to
Mhm.
work through. And they're resonating with what you're saying. What are your modalities? What are ways that people can maybe find out what is the thing they can leverage for themselves in whatever state they may be?
Right. Absolutely. So you're talking about geographic state or emotional state?
Emotional state.
So I've been working very specifically with this population, uh, adult children, emotionally immature parents, personality disorder parents since 2018, very specifically. Individually, of course, complex PTSD, um, but also since 2018, very specifically in groups with this particular group of people, because for reasons we stated at the beginning, very close to my heart. So I'm creating, or I've created an online course that
Mhm.
really covers what we cover in the groups.
Ooh.
Um, and it the reason why I created an online course is that people are so challenged for time,
Mhm. Right.
and many of us for finances these days. As you said,
Absolutely.
coaching and psychotherapy are expensive.
Tell me
And
about it.
so, right. And so many of the people who are out there really struggling with this just need to know that someone gets them.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
the course that I created is a course that I created through my experiences with many groups over the years since 2018.
Mm.
And as they shared, I've noticed the things that resonated most for them. And as I said, I
Beautiful.
also have a Facebook group um,
Yeah. It's so beautiful
for
that, and this is your Defying Gravity course, correct?
right, the Defying
Yeah.
Gravity
Yeah.
course.
And I love
Yes.
the name, by the way, because I think that, that's got the theater influence in there too.
Oh God, yes.
Not lost on
Well,
me at all. Inga,
um,
I,
yeah.
I I'm so in awe of the work that you're doing and the commitment that you have to not only taking your story and then helping others through it.
Mhm.
If we wanted to give someone a takeaway, if we wanted to give people that one thing that maybe they can practice from all of the things that we've talked about that can make some sort of impact for them, what would it be?
I would uh, really stress mindfulness practice,
Mm,
cold grounding.
yeah.
And there are, if you go to YouTube, I have a grounding practice, but other people do too. If you just
Mhm.
go to YouTube and go grounding, you
Well,
will
we're going
come
to
up with
put
a
that in the
number of
show notes.
yeah,
We're going to put all your information in the show notes. We want people
yeah.
to connect. IngaLarson.com is where you can find Inga, but you can also definitely stay tuned because this is a lot to unpack, and this conversation deserves multiple times to visit because, again, incredible work that you're doing, and you inspire me, but I know that you've been doing the work to inspire others as well. So, will you come back, Inga?
I would love it, Julie. I have had a
Amazing.
blast here. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I am grateful. And again, this journey that we're on, my friends, is not something that you need to do alone. And it's not something that you're broken because, maybe your experiences of or some of the ways in which you have been navigating life. You have to find the helpers, and Inga is one of these helpers. Find her on Facebook. We have her information and check out, her deep dives and her website. Go and, ask questions as well. But go to her YouTube and some of the work that she's doing also in her Facebook group. I will link it all up and make sure that you reach out to her. Let her know that you heard her here at Casa de Confidence, and she would love to connect with you. Thank you again for being here, Inga.
Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, my
Thank you.
friends, Inga, don't forget, this is the time. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Hi,
Hi, everybody. I know that sometimes we get very lonely in this entrepreneur journey, and I want to invite you to join us into our limited time only Purposeful You Mastermind. For many of us entrepreneurs, we believe that we can do it all, but the reality is that doing it alone only creates a lot of overwhelm. So join us at the Purposeful You Mastermind. You can find out more information by going to bit.ly/Julie's Mastermind. This is going to be the place where you are able to then unlock your full potential and achieve long-term success for your business. Push you behind your current limits, expand your connections, discover new ideas, and implement them with confidence. You're going to get the support in all aspects and transforming you to the six-figure business you've been looking for. Pause and get off the hamster wheel if you've been spinning around. This is a time where you can get that support from like-minded entrepreneurs that are here to join you in your journey. Together, we can challenge the assumptions and land the speaking engagements and opportunities we want to grow our business and make an impact in the lives of people. See you then. Remember, you can find the mastermind at bit.ly, Julie's Mastermind.